Hi, my name is Kimberly Gamble. I am a mother of two, a grandmother of two. I am the mother of Kiera Oaks, Lawrence, and Christopher Oaks.
My name is Chris Oats. I'm the brother of 7. I'm the baby. I am awful. I'll say what inspires me is like my friends and my teammates and seeing where they going, and I want to in the picture.
What inspires me every day is being able to get up and see my son. That's just simple. It's like when things happen and you see a lot of people that go through what he went through and don't make it, to just be able to, and I tell him that all the time, just being able to, seeing you on this side and not going to a gravesite to see, to talk to you. So he inspires me by every day that he gets up and he faces what he faces, and he does it with a smile. Some days he have his bad days, but even through his bad days later on that day, there's a smile. So what inspires me to get up and move on, because he's doing it, so I have to do it. And even though he's physically going through it, we're all mentally going through it. So, and I tell Christopher all the time that if your mental is not here, your physical is not going to be here. So we inspire each other to get up, do something new today, move something new today, move something faster, say a clearer word. That inspires us every day. He actually was doing EasyStand in therapy, physical therapy at Drake, and noticing that it was helping him with his core. And so they said that this would be something that he can have at home, because of course theirs was too small, because he's 6'6", so it was like he would get in there at least for about 5 or 10 minutes left of his therapy.
Well, I was standing in the hospital. I mean, I had therapy, but I just started standing by myself, like when people leave the room and talking like.
So Christopher was standing with a Craig bed. That's kind of like a bed that strapped you in and it stood up kind of like the standing frame. But he was standing with a harness. So Christopher first was able to stand without a harness by himself. I think that's when we were at therapy with just assistance of 4 people at the time. And then the way you can tell he was getting better is that his support was narrowing down people. So when he got in the standing frame at therapy, that was about a year ago, that started helping him with his core. And then all of a sudden he was standing with 2 people, and now he can stand with 1. So it was about basically a year ago when he started standing without a harness, because to me a harness was standing for him. So being able to just stand up and use the pressure for his legs itself was about a year ago when he first started using the standing frame at Drake.
I didn't know It took that much focus to stand and balance.
I think that's what drives him. That his background of football is what keeps him going. So he has that no quit mentality. And even in therapy, they'd be like, Christopher, you ready to take a break? He'll say no. So his drive, I think, is what's helping him with to keep going. I would go to therapy with him, and I saw how he liked to be his height, and for him not standing for almost a year when he got into the standing frame, I think to me it made the look in his face like, hey, I'm my height, and just sitting around, I was worried about sores and breakdown and body breaks down. So when they asked me did I want one, I was like, yes, because in the house he complains about his back and and he don't want to just sit around all day. He wants to get up, and we actually move back and forth. We'd take him in here and pull him back. He's been in his bedroom with it. It's been everywhere. Even when we go to like events where we know we're going to be there for hours and hours, we try to figure out if we can take it because he can stand. He can, if he wants to stand or not, so I enjoy seeing him stand tall. Well, the standing frame is helping Christopher with speech as well because Christopher would be able to talk sitting down. But when you have a stroke, and it's a major stroke that he had, when he's sitting, his brain's focused on talking. But when you stand, your brain has to focus on you holding yourself up and then talk. So that was multitasking. So what the standing frame did was have his brain be able to let him know that he is secure, and then he is able to get his voice out. So we practiced with the therapist and him standing and talking, which he didn't have to think about holding himself up because he knew he was secure in the frame, the standing frame. So he was able to verbalize while he's standing up talking. So that helped him out a lot. So now he can stand up and talk, even in and out the frame. So that actually is a good therapy session for speech. If anyone has a standing frame and they're going through it as far as learning how to talk, that's a good therapy to put them in a standing frame, stand them up as high as they can, and then have them talk during speech that way. It helps with their vocal cords.
Yeah, it helps me open up more.
And it's also a cheat for therapy too, because Christopher has to do squats. And he'll get in his standing frame and do his squats. But that's not him doing the squats. That's the standing frame doing it. So you have to watch out for that. If they have to do squats, when he does his squats outside of the standing frame, he hold on to us and bend down and go back up. So when he's in a standing frame, he uses the handle, which is a cheat mode. So it has its pros and cons with therapy, but yeah. One thing that I noticed with the standing frame is he can set himself back, but pumping, it helps with that therapy as well, because you have to put more pressure to pump it to go up than you have to do to set back. So that helps with strengthening his arm and his arm movements out. So that's actually part of it. Everything about the standing frame is a part of physical therapy because you have to use every single muscle in your body to be in it. The therapy part of leaving the house is good. See, we have to realize with Christopher, he's 23. Most people that go through what Christopher has had is over the age of 50 and 60. So they may be homebodies, so not leaving the house may be okay with them. But for him, it helps his mentality and his mental to get out the house. So we try to get out as much as possible. Even when we go to therapy outside the house, we still do it inside the house because we keep him going. We keep his limbs moving. So he may do 3 hours of therapy and then we'll come home and still do therapy here. The difference with the standing frame is that we can actually put him in there and he can stand up and do arm movements, where before he used to sit in his chair and do therapy. The standing frame is teaching him how to do it and hold his body up and do the therapy. I have to touch my nose and hold my balance. So the standing frame helps with that. And it helps with it where if his brain say, okay, oh my God, I forgot, and he's not going to tip over if we were doing one-on-one care without the standing frame. But it helps him be able to like do it himself. And if he touches his nose, but I forgot to block my knees, the standing frame has that security with him. So we're not worried about falling. It helps with fall risk and everything. So it's a good thing to have here. And then also, if we can't get to therapy, we know we got the standing frame here and we'll just do what we learn in therapy. What supports you more when you're standing on a standing frame? What makes you feel safe?
The belt. It helps you get your independence. And that's everything.
Mm-hmm. And as far as helping other families as a mom, and actually a single mom at that. So when like your support system, like my sister and them go home at night because they have to go home, it's just me and Chris here. So it helps me being able to know that he is in the standing frame and he's not gonna go anywhere, fall risk is gone, if I'm leaving the room, and I'm an overprotective mom. So if he's in a standing frame and he cough, I don't run in here because I know he's not tipping over or anything like that. And also it helps me know that if he's in pain or whatever and he's in a standing frame, and I can know because he'll stand up, he'll pull it up, and he'll stand up. And he goes all the way up. To me, it helps him get at that 100% of standing. He's tall, so I don't have to worry about his shoulders, crunching over once he's in there. So that also helps physically that way too, because he's not got a slouch back. So once he's in there, as a mom, I'm not worried. And I can go on around and do what I need to do around the house.
I like that, because I can move it up and down by myself. And I just know it over and over.
Mm-hmm. Physical, yes, because, you don't want to break down, but I think it helps more mentally, especially when your life revolves around you on your feet. Christopher's life revolves around him 99% of the time on his feet. So I think it helped him understand that, hey, I can stand up when I want to. I don't need no one to help me. Or I have to wait on nobody if I choose, if my knees are hurting, if I can stand up. And then when I'm standing, I can sit down when I want to. So I think with this standing frame, it gives him that sense of independence.
I'm smiling because I felt like me. I felt I was tall. And it brought pressure off my back. I use the EasyStand Evolv XT. I just try to stand as much as I can. Every day, 3 times.
Well, we use it when he's sitting in his chair and he'll say his bottom or his back is hurting. Then we'll put him in the standing frame to let the pressure off of his backside and lower his lower back. And sometimes he'll sit in the standing frame and play the video game and put half the tray, and he'll play the Madden game. Yeah, and I think he stands as long as his knees or his ankles will start aching because he's a big dude. So, and then he'll lower himself down. So when he's in there, he's able to maneuver himself when he wants to stand or go halfway or, you know. So yeah, so it helps.
My cousin, he was saying, he would let me go and see how long I could do it for. And it's been increasing, standing by myself. Just stand more in there. To get more balance. To stand by myself. And get back to football.
Okay. Well, my goals is for him to be able to transfer himself into the standing frame by himself. Stand longer. What do you mean by stand longer or stand more? Because his back hurts sometimes when he stands. So that means his body and his tone is kicking in. So if we can get like an hour, and then maybe next month we can get an hour and 15 minutes, that's helping the physical therapy part of him. That's getting stronger. That means that core is strengthening better. My goal is also for him to be able to do things on his own, like independently, getting himself from one chair to the next to here. Standing, of course, and walking. Football, yes, because that's what he loves. Me as a mom, I just want to see him walk in and out the door whenever he wants to. So, him hitting the field again would be like the icing on the cake. But as a mom, for him just to be able to get up and go and do the simple things like going and get a cup of water or get behind the wheel again and drive and say, Mom, I'm gone. And also be able to call me and be like, I made it home, back to his normal. So that's my goals for him.
And from Cincinnati, Ohio, inside linebacker, number 22, Chris Oats.
I found exciting. If I could just stand in front of other people and I just want to say thank you.
Yeah. It was exciting for me because he finally was able to stand in the end zone. I used to say, that was our little joke. I used to be like, okay, Christopher, I need a touchdown. Because every year for my birthday, when he was in high school, he would always do a pick six for me. He would always get a touchdown for me on my birthday. And for 4 years, I got it every year until he went to college, and I never got one. Mom, it's harder. So to me, to see him come out of that tunnel, because I was already standing out there. He didn't use his legs to walk out that tunnel like I used to see him run out the tunnel. But to see him come out the tunnel while he's, so that was like, oh wow, that was a plus for me. Because, you know, he did it. You know, it could have been where he wasn't able to get in the standing frame and come out. Because you got to be physically fit and physically to get in the standing frame, to use it. So for him to even get to that goal where they considered him for a standing frame is a plus for us. Considering that they didn't think that he would even be doing what he's doing now. So I believe that the odds in him focus and him trying to get back to himself, drive him to get to the point till he can get to the standing frame. And then for it to be there for senior day, that was amazing. And he stood it in all day. Even when we were up in our seats, he didn't even sit in this chair. He was in the standing frame, just standing up and back down. I was like, okay. And that's a good thing, because when he wanted to stand up and see a play, or if he wanted to stand up and cheer, he did it himself. He didn't have to have us say, okay, let's get you up. So that was exciting.
And from Cincinnati, Ohio, inside linebacker, number 22, Chris Oats.
I felt love.
You felt love? Yeah. The BBN in Kentucky has always showed us support, but through text message, or even with our foundation, and just support him. But to actually, and I hear a lot of the fans like, oh, I cannot wait till he run out there again, and he's gonna do it, and they should let Christopher do things, different things like that. But when he did it, and just seeing everybody just stand up and just applaud, and it just felt like we made the right choice. You go to college and you pick, recruit, and you just go for different things. You don't know if you made the right choice or not. But when an incident happened and he's not able to perform for what you got him there for, but you show him that much love like you did before, and even more, and continue to do it, because they continue to do it. And it's been over 3 years. And they haven't missed a beat, not one fan, not Kentucky. And actually Kentucky, to be honest with you, helped us get the standing frame, because we were waiting for almost 6 months for Drake to do it and never could go through. So when I told them about it, they was like, oh, well, let us look into it. So they actually helped us get the standing frame through. So that was a blessing for us, for them. So the standing frame didn't come from our physical therapy with Drake. It actually came from our team doctors down in Kentucky. Oats Oats GoFundMe started when we first happened in 2020. And it started with his roommate, Keaton Upshaw. And so people were donating to that. But a lot of people wanted to donate, but when they donate, they want a tax break. So after a year, Kentucky reached out and said, hey, we were trying to go to Florida for therapy. And down in Florida, they didn't take insurance, so everything had to pay out of pocket. And so people wanted to help, but they also wanted a tax break with the money that they were donating. And they was like, how about we start a foundation, and we also can spread Christopher's story around, and start and helping other people that may be in need as well. So what Christopher decided to pick 3 charities that he liked, that he wanted to help through the foundation. And so that first year, Christopher was actually the charity for the 22 Oaks Strong Foundation. And that's what allowed us to be able to go to down to Florida for the extensive therapy that was able to help us getting his transportation that we have outside. And then after that first year, the second year, we were able to help Xavier. A family met us through, we were doing his a day at therapy when we went to Florida. So every day I would post on Twitter, on our social media, hey, this is what we did, and it's his family in New Jersey, and his name is Xavier, and he, same age as Christopher, but he played basketball. So his mom was going through the same thing I was going through, and she texts me a picture and he has a standing frame. And she's like, look what we got today. And he loves his standing frame because Christopher had his standing frame. So she asked me, how did it work? How's it working with him? And I said, oh, Christopher loves it. It gives him the independence. Her son is the same age as Christopher, played basketball. He had a stroke, and his story is out there too. And he had seizures though, too, with his. And he stands in his standing frame now. And she said, oh my God, I can put him in his standing frame and I can go cook dinner. So now I don't have to worry about him falling. So us showing him and Christopher in the standing frame over social media helped another family think like, hey, that's a good thing to get for our baby. And so we stay connected with that family too. And so we chose 3 charities to help because people have helped us so much that it's like we've been abundantly blessed. I mean, with this situation, as bad as it is, it's a little light in it because it brought a little kindness to people. It brought awareness to people. Christopher brought so many people together through his story. And so with the charity, we was able to help. Just last month, we went to the Red Heart Association at the gala. We were able to donate through the 22 Oaks Strong through that. So I think it's more of like giving back from what you're giving to us. And that was the best way to do it.
I think that this the EasyStand, you can benefit from it. You should get it.
And as a caregiver and a mom, I think that it would be the best thing to get for your loved one that's doing physical therapy because it helps you physically, it helps them mentally, it helps them get that security and independence back. It helps you able to relax and do things around the house because as a caregiver, you're always 24 mentally tuned in to caring for their loved one. And when my son is in an easy frame, I'm able to let a little of that go and self-care myself, you know, because once he's in there, he has his tray, he can put his drink there, he's standing, he's sitting, he's playing his game, and he's also writing. So that's a good thing too for motor skills. And to me, it's just like a beacon of hope. There's 2 ways to support. We have the 22 Oaks Strong Foundation. That is for if you want to do a larger donation. The 22 GoFundMe, that comes directly to Christopher. And that helps us out with medical bills, gas, everyday living. We're trying to reach our goal. We're halfway, we're kind of there. So, you know, we send updates every month to let everybody know what's going on because we don't want to think that people's money is not being spent for what it's supposed to be spent for. So for those that have donated, we always thank you. We thank you every moment of the day because we couldn't do what we're doing. We couldn't live here. We couldn't do anything without that help. So we thank you for that. And then for those that want to give, we thank you for in advance. And so, yeah. It's really expensive and it's really tough. And when you don't have the means or the tools to help you because of the age, it's even harder. So without the GoFundMe or without the donations, we wouldn't be able to survive month to month. So we thank you.
I think, so that the EasyStand, it really helps to have.
Well, I feel that when you're going through a crisis in your family and there's a medical emergency, do all you can to get your loved one to where they need to be. And once they go into their recovery, use every tool that they provide for you. Everything that your therapist provide for you, whether it's small blocks or big frames, use whatever they give you. The EasyStand has really, and it's amazing that the word is easy in there. It has really helped us in his therapy. It has really helped us get our normal back. We wanted it for a long time. We were blessed to get it. If you can get it, get it. Trust and believe. If you don't have room, you're gonna make room because you're gonna love it. It gives your loved one that peace of mind, like stability and independence, and it helps their bodies. My son, it helps his back straight. He has no breakdowns of any sort, and if you have a loved one, you know what that is. It prevents all of that. So it's a medical thing, it's a physical thing, and it can be a fun thing because he plays his games on it. For those gamers, he plays his game with it. He eats with it. He can write, and schoolwork. We still do schoolwork, because we're going for that degree. So, and it brings back all your motor skills. It's amazing that it brings back your motor skills. You use your lower motor skills, your fine motor skills, and it intense your muscles. It keeps his muscles. He don't even look like, if you look at him, he got all those muscles toned in those legs. So, just get it. It's a great thing to have. My name is Kimberly Gamble.
My name is Chris Oats.
This is what it means to be 22 Oaks Strong.